Hey, all you comic book readers and true believers, it's Tuesday, and I'm your ever-loving blue-eyed comic book guy, Mitch Harmon. You know what's up, Mitch's Picks. From Dark Horse Comics, The Mask, I Pledge Allegiance to the Mask, number 1, written by Christopher Cantwell, art done by Patrick Reynolds. This is a new ongoing series coming out of Dark Horse Comics. This actually sets place 30 years after the original Mask, the Stanley Ipkiss Mask, I guess you could say. Big head, green face, whatever you want to call him, he's back. Kind of going around seemingly like killing off people who kind of deserve it. Like he goes and kills these very abusive foster parents who like kind of enslave their own children, put them in dog cages and stuff like that. But it seems like Big Head also has new targets, I guess you could say, political people. Seeing how this whole society is getting very, very vitriol with their politics, Big Head feels like the only appropriate targets are all the politicians, and so he begins to target them individually. This does have little tie-ins to the original series, like Stanley Ipkiss's former girlfriend, I believe. She's kind of in this book as well, running for mayor or something along those lines. But if you're a fan of the Mask stuff, this is a continuation of that story. But even if you're not, and you're just kind of into, like, I don't know, making fun of politics and whatnot, this is definitely one for you guys. Check it out. From DC Comics, Tales from the Dark Multiverse, Batman Nightfall, one-shot, written by Scott Snyder, Kyle Higgins, art done by Javier Fernandez. This is a one-shot, part of the whole Tales from the Dark Multiverse stuff. I believe there's going to be like 4 of them, maybe 5. Basically what these are is it's told from the point of, I can't even remember his first name, but Fuginaut. He was in the Flash Forward stuff, and he's been showing up in a little bit of DC stuff here and now. Basically a traverser of the multiverse, able to go back and forth between dimensions and all that other stuff. Talking about how he is looking to recruit people for the coming crisis, because there's always going to be a new crisis. That's kind of DC's thing. On this one, he goes to one of the multiverses of Earth that has a Nightfall situation where Jean-Paul never gave up being Batman. In this one, he actually goes on to become what's called Saint Batman, instituting his very religious authority, I guess you could say, across all of Gotham with a flaming sword, so to speak. Defeating Bruce Wayne, Batman, and defeating a lot of Batman's own villains along the way too. Killing them, actually, not really defeating. It's a really dark, evil type of storyline. Really twisted, but it's a cool story. Now, these are just a series of one-shots. Not sure if anything that happens in any of these books are going to be affecting the main DC universe. However, this is just a rad story. These are like what-ifs, if you will. Like I said, this is Nightfall, basically, except for Jean-Paul never gave up being Batman in this, and he decided to take Batman down in this instance, and for 30-something years decides to just wreak havoc, or as his idea is, justice across Gotham. These are going to be kind of a series of one-shots. Like I said, 4 or 5 of them, but they're really rad stories, and if you just like to see kind of a classic story taking on a new twist, such as Death of Superman or Blackest Night, those are also the Tales of the Multiverse. I highly recommend this series, guys. Check it out. From Image Comics, The Marked, number 1, written by David Hine, art done by Brian Haberlin. This is a new ongoing series coming out of Image Comics. Saskia, I believe that's her name. She's really big into art, and when one of her friends tells her to enter into this art drawing contest, she gets not only chosen, but she also goes to this place to come to find out that she's actually part of this very deep society, or at least she's been talented enough to be a part of this society called the Marked, which is basically people who get these constructs kind of tattooed onto their body, and then they can use the magical abilities of those tattoos. And for the most part, this society has been around for thousands of years, protecting mankind from the hordes of evil. But pretty much since World War II, this evil has kind of gone away, so magic's been more used for luxury and less for actually protecting the earth from the denizens of evil and whatnot. But as always, there's always some type of Nazi or something that comes out, wants to use dark magic to, enslave the world, or whatever they do in this. And now you're having to take these kids who have been spending their entire life using aesthetic magic and try to use it into a war magic, I guess you could say. This is a brand new series. I believe this is the same creative team behind Beauty, another Image title. Really interesting concept. dives a little bit into the magic, plus there's a lot of really cool tattoos, and just the concept also. They mix magic with technology for these tattoos later on, kind of a hybrid magic, I guess you could say. So if you're just into any of that type of stuff, or you just like really good art, because Brian Haberlin's art is very, very good, gritty work for this type of title, guys. So if you're interested, check it out. Check it out. For Marvel Comics, X-Men #1, written by Jonathan Hickman, art done by Lionel Francis Yu. For those of you who have not been following the House of X and Powers of 10, what's wrong with you? But those of you who have, this is kind of spinning out of where the last issue kind of left off. If you all saw that issue, it's basically Magneto and Xavier kind of saying that they are ready for anything at this point. You know, Xavier's kind of given up on trying to be this peaceful, cohabiting mutant society, and is willing just to live on Krakoa, and Magneto's kind of totally down with that, because he was alright with Genosha until they sent that Omega Sentinel after them. Or maybe it wasn't Omega. Anyways, giant sentinel with 3 heads. And this book just kind of helps kind of set the stage for all the Dawn of X stuff that's coming, the Marauders, Excalibur, so on and so forth. Just kind of showing you the powers of the X-Men. The ability to kind of open up a Krakoa gate anywhere, but it also shows you the remnants of Orcus. And if you guys remember, if you were reading House of X and Powers of 10, Orcus was the one that created the Mother Mold, which was going to bring about Nimrod into the world and so on and so forth. So they're not quite down and out just yet, but they still have their complete and utter resentment towards mutants and think that they're just here to mess it all up for all of us good humans that are out there. This is the new ongoing X-Men series. This is just going to be called X-Men. There is no Uncanny as of right now, at least. But this does kick off for all the other X-Men titles. So if you're interested in any of those, highly recommend picking this one. If not, even then, it's a good X-Men story, guys. Plus, this issue particularly comes with some rad variants. This one done by Stanley Lau Artgerm, or I should say Stanley Artgerm Lau. Really beautiful art, guys. Really great story. Highly recommend it. Check it out. From DC Comics, Superman Smashes the Klan, #1, written by Jean Lun Yang, art done by Guy Hiru. This is a new, but not really new, series coming out of DC Comics. These are actually old radio broadcasts done back in the 1940s. They've been adapted into, I believe, originally an online comic, but now is actually available in print. The story revolves around the family of Lees. They lived in Chinatown for the longest time, but now they're moving to Metropolis. And for the most part, they're assimilating easily. The dad's got a job working in some laboratory. The son, he's working very well with all the kids there on the baseball team and all this stuff. There's just one small problem, apparently. Their little corner of Metropolis, it has a couple of KKK members in it who don't take very nicely to new people coming in, especially people of other ethnic backgrounds. This deals a lot with obviously racism and whatnot, bigotry. This is going to be 3 issues too, so it's not just all contained in this. We will have 2 more after this. Beautiful art done by Guy Hiru, and like I said, it's really interesting because this was an old 1940s radio broadcast that they basically pulled lines from and implemented into a print form, talking about bigotry and acceptance and so on and so forth. It's a really interesting story. Plus beautiful art by Guy Hiru, and it's an $8 book, but I don't think that's going to be too much of an issue for most people because it's wonderful art and it's a great timeless story that was only in radio and then more recently internet adaptation, but now it is available in print. So you guys definitely want to pick this one up. That's all my picks for this week, everyone. Don't forget, not this Saturday, next Saturday, we have our trunk or treat going on from 7 to 9. We will be having a costume contest. We'll have games. People will be set up outside, decorating their trunks, handing out candy. We're going to all be in costume. It's a surprise of who it is. I guess it's not that big of a surprise, but whatever. It's going to be a lot of fun, guys. So please come on out for the trunk or treat. We'll also be doing Halloween Comic Fest, so we will have some comics giving out to people and so on and so forth. So it's going to be a lot of fun, guys. Please come by and check us out that day. And like I said, that's all my picks for this week, everyone. Keep reading your comics, true believers. See you guys next week.